hip hop to me is like the soundtrack of life for me, you know. And it's like it's always beating in my heart. Everything is, I see things through a hip hop perspective. Yeah, hip hop lens and perspective. Everything is hip hop to me.
Yeah. Greetings from Shaolin. Welcome, Dave Harper. This is the Artandhustle Gallery of Conversations, and I'm happy to have my partner, Dave Harper, here. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So for all of you who know and don't know, me and Dave had started Artandhustle back in, what year did we start it? 2000?
I think it was 2017 or 2018, something like that.
Yeah, I think so. How did you start J30 and Black Dice Hustlers and Hustlers Hotline? How did all that creativity and that vision come about? Because I remember when I had started planning the 20-year high school reunion, and I saw you on Facebook, and I saw that you were promoting your t-shirt lines, and I was like, oh, this looks dope. Like, I appreciated your hustle of like pushing your vision, your creativity. And so I think I wanted to support you at that time too. I'm like, oh, what are you working on? Let's see if we can get some of your t-shirts into, the CI reunion. And so I want to bring it back to how did you get that idea?
The initial idea was, it came from something that was like, back in the days, I was like, I wore a lot of Tommy Hilfiger and polo stuff. And, but getting older, I felt like, in hip hop, like people love brands.
Yeah.
I realized like somewhere in my 20s, I'm like, branding is everything.
Yeah.
People love brands. So I'm like, I want my own brand. I want my own shit.
You're like, well, I want to wear my own stuff.
Yeah, I want to wear my own shit.
Like, why would I keep buying that stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, the way I'm wearing somebody else's shit, I want somebody to wear my shit.
Yeah.
And I remember the first t-shirt I thought about and I actually did was my prototype was a line that I called So NY. And people used to look at it and be like, Sony? I'm like, no, look at it again.
I mean, I'm guilty of that too. I'm guilty of that. I'm like, why Sony? I don't understand.
Yeah, but it was So NY. But then after so much confusion, I added I am to it. So it would say I am So NY.
Yeah.
And the SO and then the NY with the dots, it kind of broke it up. So people like, I'm So NY. And then it started to resonate with people like, oh, I like that. I'm So NY. That's dope.
Yeah.
But
did you wear it out to like some events and people liked it?
Yeah, I probably lost those pictures now, but the first time I actually printed the shirts up, I was out at the Puerto Rican Day Parade and people was like, oh, that's dope. And I had a picture with like a couple of celebrities with the shirt. And they was like, yo, I like the shirt, man. But my prototype, I took a fat tip black marker, an old t-shirt, and I drew on it. I got on the floor, stretched it out, put like weights on it to stretch it out so that way it would crinkle.
Yeah.
Put cardboard on it so the marker wouldn't bleed through.
Very smart, very smart. Yep.
And I just took the fat tip marker and I just drew it as my prototype just to see how it would
vision out there.
Yeah. And that was the birth of me feeling like I want my own clothing line. I had no name. Like an
aha moment.
Yeah, but I had no name for it. And I'm like, I didn't want So NY to be the name of it. I thought of something all encompassing.
Yeah.
And I wanted more ideas. So you know, I just kept going with it, and I forgot how, but I came up with J30. I'm like, me, it's what I want. It's my brand. So why don't I call it J30?
And what does J30 mean?
J30 is just my birthday, July 30th.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I just added classic because I feel like, you know, I'm a big fan of classic hip hop from this age to from the late 80s to the 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was the early 2000s. So I'm like, yo, I love classic hip hop. And a few of my friends would always like, I would roll up, and this when tape decks was still rocking. I would always have the classic hip hop in my tape deck, bumping it with my window. Like, yo, you always got the classics. Yeah. Like you always got the classics playing. Like, oh man, it's all about the classics.
It's the best.
Yeah. And so yeah, he's like, I'm gonna start calling you classic. One of my friends.
Oh,
Larry,
really?
Yeah, Larry Middleton. He would call me. He was like, yo, I'm gonna start calling you classic. And I'm like, I like that. So when I thought about my clothing line, I'm like, J30, my birthday, it's all me. Classic. J30
well, didn't you
classic.
dress a certain way too, different than the other guys?
I wouldn't say too different, but you know, I had a more of a variety. I was more diverse in the way I could dress instead of looking like I'm on the block all the time. So it was just a no-brainer for me to say, you know what, I want to push my own clothing line, have my own clothing line. And you know, like when you saw me on Facebook, I had no idea what I was doing. I was totally winging it.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So well, it caught your attention.
I saw, maybe I have this good ability to be able to see some people's talent. And if I feel like this is something that you're really good at and it's coming from a really genuine place, I will try to help and push it. So if I saw it and I was like, he's got something there and I like it and I like what he's doing. But if I didn't see that talent and I didn't see something more or whatever, I wouldn't have said anything. I'll just be like, you know, okay.
And I didn't take you seriously, honestly.
Oh, like you totally didn't take me seriously.
I blew you off.
Just ignored me.
You off a lot. Like, you know, because at that point, I wasn't used to anybody coming out of the woodwork and saying, hey, I like what you're doing. Let me help you. Yeah. Or without a string attached, you know? So I was in that not trusting stage of like, I don't know you like that. What you want? You know? Yeah, I was like, yo, what you want? People don't help me like that.
You don't know me.
Yo, you don't know me. I still have that project mentality. It's like, ain't nothing for free. What you want? Why are you coming at me like you want to help? What the hell does help me? Yeah. So, you know, it took you a while. You were very persistent as usual. But it took me to say, you know what? She's consistent and persistent. Let me give her a shot. Fashion, I'm like, oh, that's a no-brainer.
Oh, now you're like, okay, now it's not an angle.
Now I see the connection.
You're like, it's not just an angle. She has experience.
Right. She like she can actually help instead of just like put my hand in it and then like, hey, let's make some money. Give me some money. So right. So, you know, just that alone was the beginning of J30 Classic. And I would just use this site I found when I really wanted to.
Wait, how long ago, before I had met you again on Facebook, how long were you doing SONY and J30?
A few years.
Okay.
Actually, I had just started probably by 2012, really. All those designs you saw were just years in the making of me tweaking those designs that I was just putting out there like that. You saw I had many designs on, and I was just using a website that I came across when I really got into the computer and wanting to know how to do it, called Custom Ink. And they had templates that I can just do at random and just put my ideas out there and
like
just
cut and paste.
And it was like, so it was for somebody who didn't have any experience or knowledge, it was exactly what I needed to.
Yeah, and that's a great website because it gave you accessibility to use your creativity.
Yeah, and I would just be on there all day. Like I come home from work and I would just sit there and think of ideas or have ideas in my head, and I would just start putting them together on that website. And I started really thinking like, I really want to do this. So J30 came out of it, and I've always had this idea that I wanted J30 was going to be J30, what it was, like all various different types of t-shirt designs. But I wanted I want a specific streetwear design. And I thought about, I had the idea years. I thought about Black Dice Hustlers in 2006. I was living in Virginia at the time, and I wanted a a streetwear line that would resonate with the streets. So since I ran the street, it was,
Yeah.
and I was like, the streets is always, the streets will gravitate to what resonates to them.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how a lot of hip hop is so organic and becomes successful, because if the streets grab you and support you, you're good. You're
Yeah.
good.
Finally getting back to me, you know, my art. All I want to do is art. And the other thing is that I love stories. So like, to me, art isn't everything. Your art is your voice, your speaking, your connection. You know, you can feel everyone's energy. That's your art. It's the art of living to me. So art and hustle to me is the art of living, and art of it and everything.
I hope that you cut that piece right there and make it your intro and your outro, because that was dope.